Sri Ramakrishna and pray for the well-being of the whole universe. Shanti Shanti Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Stavakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Stavakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishnaya Te Namah. Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityor Ma Mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us bow down to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God Incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. In the last class, we have started a topic, spiritual practice, and it is very important to know the technique of spiritual practice, and it is very important that we should give utmost importance for doing spiritual practices. So, from the spiritual point of view, self-effort is extremely important. Then only we will be able to understand the value of grace and how the grace flows and how it leads you towards realizing the truth. It is very important to know everything about spiritual practices, and it is very important that you should strive to become qualified to enter into spiritual realm. There was a devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, his name was Ishan. At some point of time, he practiced Purascharana, that is, repeating the divine name for a long time. And he did that. He repeated Gayatri Mantra for 5 months. And he happened to come to Sri Ramakrishna. He was a devotee, no doubt. But Sri Ramakrishna could know exactly everyone's inside. And when Ishan came to Sri Ramakrishna saw him and made some observations. He said, in spite of his doing Purashcharan, repeating Gayatri for 5 months, why is it he has not achieved anything? That would have caused a revolution in any other person. This is the observation made by Sri Ramakrishna. So, the success or failure depends upon various factors. It is not the amount of time you are spending for a long time and in long hours. It is a question of finding out the causes for not getting proper result. There are reasons. There are several reasons for failure in spiritual life. The most common of these is trying to follow an advanced spiritual technique like meditation, which is beyond one's present capacity. In order that a spiritual technique can produce real changes in you is only when it satisfies three conditions. One is simplicity. Secondly, intensity. Thirdly, constancy. All these three factors are very important when you are practicing discipline. A simple technique becomes real to you only when it is within your capacity to practice. All people are not good in meditation. All people at the same time are not good in work. All people at the same time are not good in devotion. And again, all people are not good in knowledge. So, you can't simply imitate somebody and want a result. It can never happen. That means you have to follow your own temperament, your own suitability, your own capacity. That's very important point which you should remember in spiritual practices. Simply saying, oh, I am sitting morning 5 hours, evening 5 hours, every day I am doing, still it's extremely difficult for me to control the mind. So that only shows that probably he has to adopt some other method or some other way of spiritual discipline, rather than pursuing the same method of meditation as all people do. And people have got the notion a person who sits in meditation is superior to the man who works in the garden. At the same time, people think a man working in the garden is superior to the man who is sitting in the shrine and ringing the bell. And some people even remark, what's the good? The person who is doing direct service to God by offering worship, he is superior to the one who simply talks and gives discourses in platform, goes to South Africa for attending Parliament of Religions, gives a discourse, long discourse. Millions of people talk nonsense. What is there in talking? So people can interpret, according to their own nature. It is true. How true it is. It's amazing fact. A man who has no taste of music, he simply criticizes. What is that? They're simply shouting. Shouting? And people talk, what is he doing in the chapel? He's simply dozing. What kind of meditation is doing? He's snoring there. It may be true, sometimes he may snore. So, people can criticize, but there are reasons, undoubtedly. So the result depends on how you have adopted a particular method according to your suitability, according to your capacity. But whatever discipline you follow, these three important factors you must remember. You must be completely simple, simpler than the blade of grass. And there should be intensity in your practices. You must have full of vigor. You must have so much of zealousness in you to maintain your intensity in spiritual disciplines which you are practicing. And the third factor is regularity. Regularity. You should not keep on changing priorities. My priorities today is this one. My priority tomorrow is that one. My priority day after tomorrow is the other one. If you dance like that, you will be keep on dancing till you die. You will reach nowhere. If you have taken spirituality as your first priority, that means you must devote all your attention to the method you are following, and you must be conscious of doing everything all the time. You must be aware of things going around you, going inside your heart. And you must be aware of everything that comes on your way. So, we must take up spiritual practices according to your temperament. So, if it is to be done in that way, it must be simple. If you say a man, you sit there, do pranayama. You blow the air, inhalation, exhalation, do 20 times this way, that way, etc., etc. And the man becomes frustrated. What, Swami, I can't even breathe properly. How can I do pranayama? So, to begin with, it should be simple to practice. You can achieve many things by simple ways. And all these simple ways have been told by the masters. For example, prayer, worship, remembrance of the Lord, self-surrender to Him, singing His glories, self-analysis, self-inquiry, serving holy persons. All these are some of the simple techniques which you can practice without much difficulty. You can choose any one of them according to your temperament. It should be pointed out that with the exception of a few sincere aspirants who are endowed with intense longing for God, Karma Yoga is an unavoidable preliminary spiritual discipline for the majority of spiritual aspirants. Karma, work, doing. It has got tremendous impact on your personality. First of all, if you are engaging in activity, all your sluggishness just vanishes. You become active, you become alert, you become smart. In a way, you become healthy because you are doing work, your mind is engaged in a healthy manner. So Karma Yoga has got tremendous results. And the most important feature of Karma Yoga is it purifies your personality. Purification, that is the result you get by doing Karma Yoga. But you have to do it with that spiritual attitude, that's important. Spiritual attitude must be there when you are doing action. Then it helps you in your spiritual unfoldment. Ancient Vedantic teachers insisted upon the Karma Yoga as a means of purifying the mind. And this is still true in modern times. For many, it is about the only discipline worth the name that they can practice. It is true, many people they say, "Oh Swamiji, I don't know anything. I can't read books, I can't sit and do worship. These rituals are very strange to me, but I can work. Give any amount of work, I am prepared to do." There are people who think in that way. Even those who are capable of practicing higher disciplines will find that Karma Yoga is a great help in purifying the mind, in reducing egoism, eventually winning God's grace. Suppose you are working very hard, God's heart melts down. Oh, my devotee is working so hard without expecting anything. Shouldn't I give him something by which he becomes happy? Like that God Himself shows His grace. In other words, you are drawing God's attention in doing the work properly. That's very important. Do it for the sake of God, not for anybody else. If you do work in that fashion, it not only takes away your egoism. It not only purifies your mind, it takes you nearer to God. So, simple techniques are there which we have to follow. They are very helpful and stable. You become stable if you give attention to all these simple techniques. Then you become well qualified to go higher. So, it is very important in that way to give attention to these preliminary disciplines which make you stable. You need to become more and more stable in your spiritual life. If you become more and more shaky and disoriented, distraught, then what's the use of spiritual practices then? So, it only shows you have to become more and more stable. Stable. Strong. So that is possible if you undertake the preliminary disciplines which are very essential so that you can rise to higher type of disciplines. But we don't give our attention to all these things. Simply, today I want to sit and tomorrow I want realization of God. No. You can't achieve realization of God in that way. Even if you go to Paramahamsa Yogananda Meditation Center, you will not get anything there. Simply talk. So, the second factor which I told in the beginning, intensity. If you have to achieve something, if you want to perceive something tangible in your ways, you have to practice disciplines with intensity. How that intensity comes? It comes only when your total life is involved in it. Are you prepared to involve your life totally? So, all these factors are important to get the result. Simply telling, I'm not getting anything, what can I do? I'm eating and drinking and sleeping. This kind of lamenting will not help. How much you involve yourself. That's the point. Total involvement. Involve your body. Involve your mind. Involve your intellect. Involve your whole being. That is called intensity. Your priority is spiritual life. That you must always bear in mind. So, intensity will come only when your total life is involved in it. When you have found a simple technique which is best suited to your nature, what would happen? Your whole personality will respond to it. Your whole personality will respond to it. Then problems like lack of concentration, lack of enthusiasm, all these things will not trouble you anymore. So intensity is another factor responsible for the success. First is simplicity, second is intensity, and third factor, equally important, is constancy, regularity. Spiritual practice, in order to become effective, it must be kept up continually. That's very important. That you have to see how it could be established in your daily life. You must adjust things in such a way that your spiritual practices are not disturbed. You have to manage things in such a way that you have not discontinued it even for a short time. You have done it. Today's spiritual practice I have done. Like that you must say. You should not say, today there was raining, so I could not do spiritual practice. It was very hot, so I could not do. It was very cold, I could not do. I was tired, I could not do. No such reason should come there. So that is possible when you are strongly determined in your spiritual goal. So when spiritual aspirant succeeds in acquiring a spiritual technique which satisfies these three conditions, namely simplicity, intensity and constancy, then he will find it leading him deeper and deeper into his consciousness. And when he at last discovers his own true path, he will find that through it he can reach the goal. He will find that though it may contain elements of karma, meditation, devotion and knowledge, it is in fact none of these. It is his own path, his own yoga. Everyone has his own yoga in the depths of his consciousness. Once it is discovered, more than half of the struggles in spiritual life will be over. So your own true path is your yoga. Because that path takes you towards God and you get the final result. There are auxiliary disciplines. Every spiritual aspirant must hold on to one main path, one central discipline. But he soon realizes that it's not possible unless his inner life is supported by some auxiliary disciplines. In traditional treatises on Vedanta and Yoga, these are auxiliary disciplines regarded as qualifications. These auxiliary disciplines are also called qualifications. According to what is known as the doctrine of adhikarin, that is, who is qualified? A person is not considered eligible for the practice of the main discipline unless he acquires necessary qualifications in order to practice the main discipline. Just like before going to medicine, you have to pass through pre-medicine course. Just like that. Before you take up the main discipline, you have to pass through preliminary disciplines, auxiliary disciplines. It is the neglect of this doctrine that is another cause for failure in spiritual life in modern times. People don't care, don't give attention to auxiliary disciplines. They want sudden jump. The result would be sudden fall. They break their bones, get admitted to hospital, keep suffering. So the nature of auxiliary disciplines is important, very important. It varies from one school to another. In the school of Advaita, this auxiliary discipline constitutes the fourfold effort: discrimination, dispassion, self-control, and yearning for liberation. According to Patanjali Yoga, the auxiliary disciplines are truthfulness, chastity, non-violence, non-stealing, absence of greed, and purity, contentment, austerity, self-study, self-surrender to God. These are all auxiliary disciplines which you have to establish yourself properly. Then you become qualified to practice the main discipline. In the bhakti schools, that is, those who take up devotion, according to them, the chief of the auxiliary discipline is love of God. So, if you survey the auxiliary disciplines followed in different schools of spirituality, you find three most important observations. One is, all these auxiliary disciplines are pointing out to this. One is aspiration, second is detachment, third is discrimination. These represent the spiritualization of the three main faculties of man: feeling, will, and reason. Unless these three faculties are purified and trained, it is not possible to practice any spiritual discipline properly. First you have to set right these things. You must have proper reasoning, you must have proper feeling, you must have proper will. All these things must be properly coordinated. Aspiration is the primary motive force in practices which impels the soul Godward. It is faith energized and raised to a high degree of intensity. In the path of knowledge, aspiration takes the form of longing for liberation. In the path of bhakti, it takes the form of intense love for God. You know, the human mind is seldom steady. It's always fluctuating, flittering. Sometimes it longs for God and sometimes it turns after worldly pleasures. It is true. To keep the mind constantly turned towards the highest goal through intense aspiration, that is very essential. So, to keep up that intense aspiration is the main task in spiritual life. Patanjali calls this as abhyasa, effort. This, however, is not possible unless the tendency of the mind to run after worldly pleasures is checked. How do you check it? The mind wants to run. This checking is done through vairagya. Raga means attachment, vairagya means detachment. Yeah, we had a retreat in Ganges, practice of detachment. Vairagya. So, Patanjali says in the yoga, the waves of the mind are controlled through abhyas and vairagya. Abhyasa vairagya bhyan tan nirodha. That is the sutra, aphorism. The river of mind, this particular sutra, this aphorism has been commented by a great Rishi, Vyasa. He said, the river of mind flows in two opposite directions. Towards virtue and liberation and towards vice and bondage. Through dispassion, the channel to sense objects is to be closed. And through intelligent effort, the channel to spiritual knowledge is to be opened. Thus, aspiration and detachment represent the positive and negative aspects of spiritual effort. In order to maintain this twofold effort, the constant exercise of the faculty of reason is necessary. This is known as viveka or discrimination. It strengthens detachment and inflames aspiration and keeps the soul on the right track. Apart from these auxiliary disciplines, two more factors are of great help in making spiritual effort fruitful. What are they? These are the guidance of an experienced teacher and the holy association. Without the guidance of an illumined teacher, spiritual progress gets considerably delayed. For many years, are spent in finding out the true path by the trial and error method. How much time has been taken up in order to find out the true path? Swami Vivekananda, in one of his complete works, has stressed the importance of the Guru. The one thing necessary is, Swamiji says, to be stripped of your vanities, the sense that we possess any spiritual wisdom, and to surrender ourselves completely to the guidance of our Guru. The Guru only knows what will lead us towards perfection. We are quite blind to it. We do not know anything. This sort of humility will open the door of our heart for spiritual truths. Truth will never come into our mind so long as there will remain the faintest shadow of ahankar, that is egoism. So Swamiji very clearly has stated how it is essential to have the guidance of an experienced illumined teacher. Service to an illumined Guru is in itself a great discipline, which unites the light of jnana, the fire of bhakti, the joy of meditation, and the power of karma into one mighty, all-fulfilling yoga. Yoga has twofold function. On the one hand, it lifts the self from a lower level of consciousness to a higher level, and on the other, it connects individual consciousness with cosmic consciousness. The wheel of yoga needs the operation of two forces, self-effort and divine grace. Yoga is a union of the limited powers of the soul with the infinite powers of God. So, that concludes my topic, spiritual practice. What I want to conclude is that pay attention to all the details of spiritual practices. Never neglect any of them. Everything has got its value. Everything strengthens you. Strengthens you. But what is needed is you must keep up that fervor all the time. Spiritual fervor must be there. And you must be very much willing to do spiritual disciplines every day without failure. Then it is possible to expect the result. What Shankaracharya has said, one can get liberation even in this life. Is it possible? It is. How? By doing spiritual disciplines properly, regularly. That's all. Advice to Ishan. There is chapter 31. Pandit, smiling, said, worldly duties, sir, you know I have very little leisure. Pandit was telling. The Pandit sat down and the master began to talk with him. Master said, you spent a long time in Benares. Tell us what you saw there. Tell us something about Dayananda. He longed for Keshav as a chatak bird longs for rain. He was a great scholar and made fun of the Bengali language. He admitted the existence of the deities, but Keshav did not. Dayananda used to say, God has created so many things. Couldn't he have created the deities? Dayananda believed the ultimate reality to be without form. Captain was repeating the name of Rama. Dayananda said to him sarcastically, "Better repeat Sandesh." Pandit said, in Benares, the Pandits had great discussions with Dayananda. Finally, he was left alone with all the others against him. They made it so hot for him that he thought the only way to save himself was by running away. All the Pandits shouted with one voice, "Whatever Dayananda has said is to be despised." I saw Colonel Olcott too. The Theosophists believe in the existence of Mahatmas. They also speak of the lunar, solar, stellar and other planes. A Theosophist can go in his astral body to all these planes. Oh, Olcott said many such things. Well, sir, what do you think of Theosophy? That Pandit is asking a question to Sri Ramakrishna. The Master said, the one essential thing is bhakti, loving devotion to God. Do the Theosophists seek bhakti? They are good if they do. If Theosophy makes the realization of God the goal of life, then it is good. One cannot seek God if one constantly busies himself with the Mahatmas on the lunar, solar and stellar planes. A man should practice sadhana and pray to God with a longing heart for love of His lotus feet. He should direct his mind to God alone, withdrawing it from the various objects of the world. We shall stop here. Yes, so let us engage ourselves in doing sadhana in a simple way, surrender to God and do sadhana. That's all what is to be done. And we shall conclude. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust, raging furiously within. O name streamed down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of His bliss, tasting His nectar at every step, bathing in His name, that bath for weary souls. Various are Thy names, O Lord, in each and every name Thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of Thy name. So vast is Thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to Thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for Thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is Thy servant, O sweet one. In Thy mercy consider him as dust beneath Thy feet. Ah, how I long for the day when an instant's separation from Thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without Thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers. May all realize what is good. May all be actuated by noble thoughts. May all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy. May all be free from disease. May all realize what is good. May none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous. May the virtuous attain tranquility. May the tranquil be free from bonds. May the freed make others free. May good betide all people. May the sovereign righteously rule the earth. May all beings ever attain what is good. May the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time. May the earth be blessed with crops. May all countries be freed from calamity. May the holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.